They're all 5 or fewer services. So,
Cool. What type?
Air, fire, and water.
Cool. Yeah, I'm all good. I'll leave you to.
Oh, I really wish the answer to that question was Earth, Wind, and Fire. God damn it.
You had your chance.
Cool. Right. Okay. So, any last purchases?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm requesting TD permission to take in debt 15 to get a pain editor.
No, denied.
I'm just rolling for my Persona fix. Because even though I only have one, I kind of feel like Xeno would have copies, like just one in a safe at home.
Just have more, just in case for a rainy day.
I feel like he would have multiple on his person.
Xeno is never allowed to not feel cool and cocky and confident and like a professional real Shadowrunner.
Yeah,
Like,
I imagine Xeno having like a little necklace with like one of those slide open compartments, right?
Well, that's the problem, is that he doesn't know he's a Persona fix. So, and having it on his person would mean that it was threatening the fantasy. So instead, the way I figure it is he has it playing in his head, and he just has like an anxiety about people rooting around in there.
What I recommend is like the Jason Bourne style thing, where he has the like tattoo on his hip of the Swiss bank account, of the proverbial Swiss bank account, right? In this case,
I picture it more like RoboCop's secret directive.
Yeah.
Like, don't
Xeno's
he doesn't know why, but
Xeno's fantasy thing is just that he is this super cool professional Shadowrunner all the time.
Basically.
Nice.
So is Xeno actually unable to learn from his mistakes? Because the Persona fix just overwrites any fuck ups he may actually do.
He's able to learn from his mistakes, but it'll rewrite it so it was someone else's mistake that he's learning from, basically. Like, it'll never place him in the
fuck up spot.
Yeah, unless it's something that he could that makes him sound cooler, like, you know, he overcame something, or something just went wrong and
He saved the day because he's so badass.
Yeah, that sort of thing.
Nice. Man. So, any more purchases?
No, I'm good.
Cool. So are we all good to go then?
Yes.
Excellent. Since Will said yes, I'm taking that as for the rest of you, since you were all silent. So, as the job posted said, your fixer gives you a call and just saying he's got a standard Johnson type here, black suit, black tie, looking for the classical expendable assets to do some expendable jobs. Since it's your bread and butter and you are expendable assets, she's all put up your names for it, and you've all got a text back from your fixer saying you are to meet the Johnson at a restaurant bar called the Keystone, which is in the Snohomish A zone in the Snohomish sector of Seattle at 7 p.m. and you're to ask for the Jameson party.
Mugshot handily notes this down with her newfound ability to read and write.
Nice. So I think we'll just do the Cotton Eye Joe, where did you come from, where did you go, just going from left to right. So starting with Monroe, anything you're doing before the meeting, how you're getting there, any pre-meeting prep shenanigans. You know the drill.
Yeah, sure. How much time do I have before the meet? Like, what's my awareness?
So it's 7 p.m., so I'm going to guess you have the morning. You'd have the morning. So you, whenever, whenever Monroe would get up, from then to 7 p.m., I would say. So if you get up at 7 a.m., you've got 12 hours.
Sorry, I have to call ID in general. Okay, there we go. All right. I'm going to do a matrix search.
Nice matrix search, Lisa.
No, that was his assist.
It's just threshold 1. I just want to get an idea of the meeting location and anything I might know about it on threshold 1.
So it's for threshold 1. So it is it's got a good reputation for middle and high class. It's most of the time it is higher classes, and they tend to cater to more private event, like more private dining. So it's not like a big open kind of like, you know, restaurant area where you're like maybe, you know, 5 feet away from the next table. All of them seem to be like, you know, private enclosed booths for like that extra privacy kind of thing.
Yeah, I'm looking for more stuff like name, neighborhood, theme, right?
So the theme is just classical American. If you go to the map I linked, it's in the Snohomish A zone of Snohomish, which is like.
All right, sorry. Is the link on the table or is it just way up above?
It's way up above. I'll relink it.
Thanks. Sorry, as if we did a lot of rolls in between now and then.
Yeah, that's all good. So it's in the Snohomish sector, in the actual Snohomish A zone, which is up north. So if you go to where like it is, wherever it is, if you just go right to that.
Yep, I'm familiar with Snohomish. Yep.
It's the A zone in there. Classical American cuisine. Good, you know, it's got all of its health and safety and hygiene. Things are all like AAA up to par, and very good reputation for for mid to high class dining. But it caters to more private, higher class parties for more private, kind of secluded dining shenanigans. I can't think of
Okay, so it's high class. Is it like black tie high class, or is it just suit? Because black tie is, you know, I need to make sure I have a tuxedo. All right.
Yeah, it's suit because it also caters to the lower levels, like the mid branch kind of office managers kind of things that have got some cash to spend. So.
Okay, great. So usually what I do pre-runs is I'm going to just construct an extended disguise. I think that's the max 8, so I get a +4 bonus to the application.
Yep. So this is the making of it, and now you're moving on to the applying of it. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm. It took 15 minutes. It took 15 minutes per extended disguise test, so it took 45 minutes for me.
Okay, I have rating 3 disguise. I've matrix searched the place. Do I have any information on the other team members or the Johnson? Because fixers are supposed to, you know, vet the Johnson. So I'd like a little bit more information other than is a Johnson.
So the Johnson is. So this is where like my lacking of like the Johnson side of Matrix come in. But he's a vetted Johnson, all like green lights all aboard. He tends to do the jobs for some of the lower rated corporations, so like some Fed Boeing, some Dock Wagons, none of the AAA stuff.
So he represents assorted double A's.
Yes, and some of the lower A's as well.
Okay, so he's a professional middleman. He's not, you know, usually associated with a corporation.
Yeah.
Okay. And okay, so I have my disguise. I have that. Do I know the names of the other runners on the job? Has the Johnson, you know, let us coordinate with each other before the Johnson meet?
Yes, he has. Your fixer's also given you the 4 other names. He's given you like the address, the time, the Jameson party, and then just 4 names. So at the end of it, you've got Zeno, Mugshot, Rattletrap, and Goro. Also,
okay, great. Sorry.
If you could, just this fun thing for Kurt, if you could do me a favor, if you could change your Roll20 name to your character name, please. It just makes it a bit easier for me. So, thank you. But yeah, sorry for cutting you off there now.
Yeah, no, it's fine. I'm totally comfortable with people who need to say things, or if it's important, especially the GM cutting me off, just making sure we need to do things. Great, so I'm gonna switch my clothing to stuff that's like more appropriate to the situation. I do have an Argentum coat, and usually I'm rocking that like to look in more like KE style, a little like basically usually I dress it down a little bit to be a little more lined coat or sort of more streetweary, right? But it is electrochromatic, and I do have the fashion spell, so I can pretty quickly switch it over into like something that's a much more high class overcoat look, right? Over like a shirt and tie slacks type deal. And then I will contact. So I have the names of everyone on the run, so I'll send everybody a DNI request. Probably not right away, but like 3 hours before the meet, just doing the brief. I'm Monroe, I'm your magical specialist, and I'll ask Zeno if he can do a pickup on the way too, because I've worked with Zeno before, and I know he's a driver.
Cool. I'll just make that aware to everybody that you are given. You're just given 4 names at the end of the text. If you can make heads or tails of what they mean.
Yes, I have run with Zeno before.
Yeah, that
So
which I
that's the reason I'm contacting Zeno specifically, to see if Zeno can do a pickup, an hour before the meet, not too far, so I can take the sweet ride there. I will refer to it as the sweet ride and not the rocket ship.
Oh, well, then you don't get to enter it. So
I will refer to it as a sweet ride. I will not do the sweet ride. How about that?
not the rocket ship. All right, fine.
Well, I don't remember that. I don't remember.
She also goes by
he refers to it as the rocket sheet.
Sweet Zeno and
Rocket
Helen
ship.
ride.
I am praising his car, but not correctly referring to it by name. How about that, Will?
Fine, plebeian. But yeah, I'll happily pick you up if you need
That was
it.
a very good segue because Zeno's next on the list.
Okay, well, I am going to also do a disguise. I'm cool with that. And yeah, as Xeno's coming from downtown, he's going to be riding in the rocket ship. He's going to be wearing his Armante suit, I guess. It seems like that kind of place, like high class.
Yeah.
He doesn't really have a whole lot of stuff that he brings with him. I mean, he has his deck, he has his cyber arm, which he has a long suit jacket sleeve and glove over, but I think they're still pretty bulky. So I expect people can still see what it is. And yeah, I mean, he'll do the pickups on anyone who needs to be picked up, and he'll drive them over to the place, 10-15 minutes ahead of the meeting time.
Okay. So disguise, dress, cool. Anything else? Or are you all good there?
I'll keep I'll bring my gear, but I'll have it in the smuggling compartment, which is it's not the usual. It's like not in the trunk. It's accessible via the
doors.
The people in the back seat. It's like under that, so you
right,
access it from the floor. Yeah.
Got you. Cool. Mugshot.
Mugshot wakes up somewhat late, does not do a disguise because she is a dumb troll and doesn't realize that she should probably be hiding her face. When she gets the DNI call, she'll connect to it, and then when Xeno's like, "Yeah, I can give ride," she'll just kind of in that sheepish kind of voice, like, that would be good because I was a troll from the Barrens, and I is not going to be looking very nice for this fancy place, which I imagine is a fancy place. So if you could give me a ride, that'd be great.
Yeah, no problem. I have no idea if Xeno's car can fit a troll, but I'm sure we can manage.
I mean, I'm riding shotgun if he's picking me up first, so the troll can take up the entire back seat.
I was about to say, Mugshot is the back seat.
So
it's not adjusted for metahumans, that's for sure.
Will, when you show up, Mugshot has 2 duffel bags, one over each shoulder. She just quietly... Actually, no, 3. She's got 3 duffel bags.
Nice.
She just puts them in the smuggling compartment.
I know I will have put a small bag in there. I'm sure Will had some stuff in there. I don't know if the smuggling compartment can fit all that. If you're bringing a fucking arsenal.
Well,
I mean, it's just a regular smuggling compartment. It's not troll sized.
Ah, fuck. Fuck.
Oh, yeah. So, Will, I would like you to just give me a reaction plus edge chest for the simple fact that it's just to see how well your car handles with this massive troll in the back seat.
Reaction plus edge, okay.
Well, she'll put what she can, and then what she can't fit, she'll put in her own fun ones smuggling compartment and be like, I'm just going to have this follow us.
Cool. There's a couple of, just the eerily scraping sounds as, the exhaust or the bumper, and when you're going over bumps or just a bit of a dodgy road, it's scraping. And you're so worried for your car because it's does like that fine scraping and scratching noises that sounds very close to damaging. Just for when you get out and later expect. Car is majoritarily fine, maybe some paint scraped here and there, but for the most part is all good.
Listen, this car has been through worse. I have built the suspension personally, and it's there to. I'm constantly ramping up shit and hitting people with it, so I'm fine. I'm sure it'll. I'm sure it'll survive.
Mugshot looks very up. Like, sorry, but sorry.
Excellent. Is there anything else Mugshot would like to do? So no disguise, got a left, got there. Anything else?
No.
Cool.
She's wearing an armor jacket.
Fair dues. Rattletrap, you're up next. So normally this varies from table to table just with the format of the hub, but I like to give players opportunities to do some pre-meeting prep. Monroe was a good example of that, doing disguises, doing a wee bit of research on the meeting and whatnot. Is there anything Rattletrap would like to do before he leaves for the meet?
I think, I mean, if I've known the other players or the other people who are coming to the meet with us, then I just look up the place. I mean, I live in the Snohomish area, so I've probably at least heard of the joint.
Yeah. If you want some specific information, roll me a computer's matrix search or a area Seattle knowledge, or area knowledge Seattle rather. But like you living in the area, you've heard of it. It's a fancy restaurant. Like, you know, that's on the label.
Yeah, I mean, if I've heard of it and I know basically where it is, then that's probably fine.
Cool.
I just drive my van up there.
This is just a wee thing of like, so being a rigger, you've got drones and shenanigans. I'm guessing they're set up in the van via the drone slots. Do you have any smuggling compartments and any other gear and whatnot that would be that I should know about that might be in smuggling compartments? Because you've got licenses for the drones, you know, for the most part that should cover you.
I've got licenses for the drones and the weapons, but I'll just keep my gun in the smuggling compartment, and I've got a backpack full of basic medical stuff. I'll
Cool.
keep that as well.
Fair dues. And when are you planning on arriving at the meet for? So you're meant to be. The meet starts at 7. What time would you like to be at the actual venue for?
I'll show up at 6:30 and then just run my fly spies around the area a little bit, see if I can see anything suspicious,
Fair
and then
dues.
head in about 10 minutes early.
So are these fly spies running automated, or are you piloting them?
I'll just run them automated.
And then give me because it's clear sight that you use for perception on fly spies, don't you? So if you give me the roll for them, please, just to see what they're able to pick up, and we will come back to you in a moment. Junst, how do you pronounce your character's name? Just so I stop saying it wrong.
Just like Goryo.
Gorio, thank you. So Gorio, you know the song and dance by now.
Oh yeah.
So what you doing? How you getting there? What's your plan? Speak to me.
All right. So first he slaps on a R8 disguise. I rolled for that above.
Yep, I saw that.
He's coming as a youngish Russian-looking fellow, fairly bland, never really sticks out. He will be driving in his Jackrabbit over to the meet directly. He's going to get there about 5 minutes before. He's not going to stand out at all here. He's got his Zoe executive suit on, so he's definitely dressed for this up-class location.
Fair dues. So disguise, suited up, and you've got your own vehicle, yes? What type of vehicle is it, just out of curiosity?
Yeah.
What vehicle, sorry?
Oh, it was a Jackrabbit.
Got you. Anything else you'd like to do before the meet, or are you just good with your disguise and your suit?
Just go with that.
Cool. Okay, so for the power of convenience, the four of you, besides Rattletrap, who said 6:30, will arrive about 1:45, good 15 minutes early. Rattletrap, your fly spies, for the most part, the area around the Keystone restaurant is A-zone, so it's nice, nice apartment buildings, nice housing schemes, very clean, You can see the oh so polite and friendly KA officers on patrol being nice to the residents being nice to them. Nothing suspicious at all until about 15 minutes to when you see a GMC Phoenix, which is riding particularly low at the back, rolls up to the parking lot, and then a very large troll that isn't particularly dressed for the occasion steps out, and then you can see two other individuals step out as well. And it's just a mix of characters. And I'm just going to double check a thing real quick here, just see if I'm going to ask you to do a roll. Nope, you're all good. But the only thing that really draws your attention to this really bland and boring, looksy-loo, is that GMC Phoenix that is riding particularly low because of the troll. And that's 1:45.
So I'm going to assume that the three mismatched people getting out of the car are probably the people I'm here to meet with. So I'll pack up the drones and head inside.
And Monroe, this was roughly about the time you said you would pass out the DNI link, was it not?
No, I was passing out the DNI like 3 hours before.
3 hours ago. Right. Sorry, my bad.
With my general introduction, so that everybody on the run could get the, don't freak out. This is who's supposed to be here, and we could transfer anybody who needs to slave stuff to a high rating deck or whatever could do it to whoever our matrix specialist is, and so on and so forth.
Cool. And since you have been in communication for the past 2.5 hours, you do recognise these three as the rest of your runner team. Forgot that you wanted to do it that early. My bad. But yes. So those three are definitely part of your runner team. You've been talking to them back and forth for the past hour and whatnot, and they've gave you general physical description so you know who to look out for. I'm guessing. I'm assuming.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure everybody knew who is who, and when the giant troll muscle gets into the car, you want to make sure it's the right troll muscle and not some random troll muscle, right? Like,
let's be real.
Yeah, sure. Just get like.
Let's be real. We're all in.
Oh god! So I'm just laughing at the aspect of Mugshot just still sitting at the bus stop. Where's Zeno and Monroe? They're going to pick me up 2 hours ago.
Well, it's just like I'm just like imagining this like. Do Shadowrunners just like let whoever into their car? No, like there's got to be some sort of check, right? Like,
of course.
Passcode.
So it's more the like making sure we're picking up the right people and not letting random heavily armed strangers like sure, let me just put like chemical explosives into your bag. Oh wait, you're here for a different job. Fuck.
You know that troll muscle is just all interchangeable anyway.
Anyway, yeah. So just like stuff for that general stuff. It's less of a like I think you're gonna screw us on this, Kieran, and more of a I want to remind you that if you don't do this stuff, it could actually happen. So common sense is not common, and I need to operate with some basic procedure here. Yeah. So gonna operate with that basic experience.
10 out of 10.
And do my personal basic introduction, which I can do the whole thing in character, or we can sort of do that later. I don't know which one to do. I kind of like to get through the Johnson meet. So,
I think how we'll want to do it. I think how I would want to do it is if you just give out a character general quicks, and then when you're doing the legwork section, you can get into the full RP then.
Yeah, so he's going to introduce himself as the likely primary magical support for the run. He's going to note that he's worked with at least 2 of you before, and he's had pleasant experiences, and he hopes things continue to go well. And he will, look at Mugshot's large amount of guns, or like, again, the 3 duffel bags, right?
Yep.
And probably make some sidelong comment like, do you need all 3 of those, or is like 2 enough? You know what I mean?
I mean, technically 2's enough, but I like the 3rd one because it makes me better at not dying.
Right. And then, lay off the snide comments until we generally get to the run. I assume there's some bants in the car ride, but I don't want to, take up the 45 minutes with the full car ride.
Yeah, that's all good. That's all good. So then we'll move down the line again. So Zeno, quick kind of physical description and introduction now that you've met your team. Or the other
Yeah,
half of it.
Zeno's like a 6 foot something Asian male. I'll post a picture of him in game chat. This is what he's looking like at the moment. He is clearly someone who takes extreme pride in his appearance. But there's something slightly tacky about him. Like, he's clearly following all of the present fashion trends and doing everything he can to look his best. But for those who could tell, who are familiar with high society, probably can tell, like, this guy isn't he isn't pulling it off quite as well as he's
Is the
pretending.
tackiness like he saw this in a magazine and has like been hunting the stores to get the clothing that matches it?
Yeah, a little bit. It's almost like he's trying to dress like he thinks models and action stars do, and he's like wearing a bit too much cologne, that sort of thing.
A metric ton of hair gel.
Oh yeah, his hair is like completely
Stiff.
yeah, you can tell like he's constantly redoing it and dyeing it, and
More gel than hair.
he's wearing huge sunglasses, which he frequently whips off dramatically and then puts them back on later.
Like
To do it
I
again
keep,
at another
every
time.
time I run with Zeno is a Kamen Rider protagonist.
Yeah.
Does he
That's
whip
what
them off
he'd
and
be
say,
like.
"Nani?"
Please. I can only take so many references at once.
He kind of takes the lead and just assumes you're all going to fall in behind him. Like, he thinks he's the most important person here.
I'm gonna be the like one step behind him in Zeno's imaginary like movie poster V triangle, if that makes sense. Of
They're all
like,
walking in
the
slow
crew rolling
motion
in.
somewhere, I guarantee it.
Yeah.
Cool. Mugshot.
Mugshot is a 9-foot 1-inch tall troll who looks pretty much like her picture. She looks like a troll. She's currently got an armor jacket on. She's got dark red hair. And she is currently attempting to not look shifty and failing very badly.
Fair dues.
'Cause
But
this-
you're with the two guys who are looking like they own the place, so it's going to
Right, so in Zeno's imaginary movie poster, if Monroe is the guy on, if Monroe is his right hand man, one step behind him, got his back, Mugshot is the big muscle in the back, who kind of has to be in the back because otherwise you couldn't see the other people.
Nice. Cool. Anything else, big man?
Negative. She's not taking any duffel bags into the nice restaurant.
Are you sure?
Rattletrap.
Very sure.
So if you want to give us a general description of what your character looks like and how he'd introduce himself to the rest of the team and whatnot.
Rattletrap is 6 foot 8-ish, just kind of portly mechanic looking orc. Clearly loves his food and not so much with the physical exercise. And just spends more of his time poking around inside drones and machines than dealing with people. So I mean, he's wearing a button up and some slacks, but maybe they don't fit quite as well. It's their job interview clothes, and he hasn't worn them in ages.
I'm sorry, I just read what Monroe posted. Cool. And so you've just seen these three individuals get out of the GMC Phoenix. You've been in contact with them. You know that these three are part of your team. How are you going to approach them, if you will approach them outside? Or if you'll just wait until you get to the table. That's up to you.
I'll try and meet up with them right around the entrance so that we all kind of walk in together.
Okay. I'm guessing, just from the base descriptions, the only one that will give you the light of day is Mugshot. Potentially Monroe, depending. But I'm guessing Zeno's just in his own little world, not going to say hello to the help.
He does the nods,
Fair dues, fair
he's
dues.
definitely acknowledging people, but he wants to walk into this place and have the staff think that he's somebody important.
Fair dues. And Gorio, same question to you, big man.
Gorio, he's in disguise, so again, he also has blindness quality, so he's not stand out at all here. He looks like a youngish Russian-looking fellow, maybe late 20s, early 30s. It's hard to tell. Definitely hard to tell. It doesn't stand out the credit at all. He's got his nice suit on, so definitely looks like he fit into this section of town. If he sees the others, he's not going to say or do anything. He is just completely casual. I'm a diner going to this fine establishment for this fine food and maybe to do illegal trek.
Fair dues. So you're gonna wait until the actual meet itself to make your introductions.
Yep, he will just head up to the door about a minute before to say he's here for the Jameson party and walk in.
Cool. You'll be directed to an enclosed booth. There's already a human gentleman. What you expect from a Johnson. The black suit, the tie, crisp and clean, not a single speck of dirt on it, sitting there at the head of the table waiting for you. Gives you acknowledgement, lets you take a seat, and just 30 seconds behind you would be the other four, because I'm guessing you're going to follow the same procedure once you get to the door.
Yep. If anyone gives Mugshot trouble, she's just going to point sheepishly at Xena and be like, I'm with him.
The exact opposite. They don't seem to care. You walk in, you say that you're part for the Jameson party at 7 p.m, and just indifference guides you and gestures over to the booth. When you arrive, you see the Johnson and your fellow runner, Gorio, already at their seat. The Johnson gestures for yourself to take a seat yourselves.
I do so.
Yeah, I'll totally take a seat and let our primping face primp.
Nice.
God, I'm not even a face. I just act this way.
I know, but you're acting like a primping face.
So before we get to the primping face primping, I'm just going to give you a bit more of a general. So the Johnson, as I said, the human male, mid-30s, maybe early 40s at a push, sitting there in his pristine black suit, black tie. You can see he's kind of, as you're all taking your seats, he's kind of got that glazed over look as he's looking in the AR, moving one hand, which has got an AR glove, just kind of scrolling through things. He kind of swipes along, and he shows you menus, and he kind of opens up with, we've got a couple of options here. We can start the meeting straight away, skip the niceties in the dinner, or I've been given some access to some funds to treat you to a nice dinner, and then we can see to the meeting, but that is up to you, gentlemen. I'll go with the majority of vote on this one, since I don't want to waste money on half the party.
Over DNI, I'm just going to do... Actually, I'm going to roll Shadow Community just to confirm this real quick.
Mugshot does have 2 street cred at this point.
No, this is like a classic old school Johnson thing, if I remember correctly, Kieran.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of old school Johnsons, they really like to just sit down and have dinner and only talk non-business before they do getting to work, especially for higher level jobs, right? It's the sit down, get to know you as a person type of deal, right? And then decide. Then get to the sort of unpleasantries, as it were. Is that the vibe I'm getting from this?
It's very much the vibe. You can get the feeling that this Johnson's indifferent. He doesn't mind if you just want to get down and dirty. You're kind of guessing he's maybe done, he might have other meetings today, but he's kind of got that mixed feeling of he's in a bit of a rush, but he's cool and composed. Like, he knows he's good at this. He can, even if he is in a bit of a rush, he's going to get there bang on time, kind of thing. So,
okay. So given that, I'll just over DNI suggest that we take the dinner, but no one order any appetizers.
Xena says he'd rather just get a drink and move right to business, but
just drinks tonight. Just drinks for us tonight. Then that's a good middle ground.
Drinks work. I fear the establishment's food may not be up to par.
Rattletrap. I mean, I'm okay with drinks, but he's already face deep in the menu looking at food.
Mugshot over Dina, like, this is the nicest place I've ever been in. Is it really okay to get something to eat?
Oh my god. Okay, let's get the trolls some decent food.
Figuratively and literally trolling right now, Mugshot. Love it. Yeah, no, I will DNI firmly in all caps. No appetizers, everyone.
It's her voice is almost like plaintive. Like, is this real? Am I actually not allowed food?
And then to Mr. Johnson, I'll sort of smile and I'll say, "We'll just skip to the main course." I think, and so we don't keep you overly long.
He kind of smirks at the comment, gives a nod, and goes, "Well, place your orders if you don't mind. I've already taken the luxury of ordering the drinks already."
Oh dear. I'm going to judge his intentions.
But by all means. So as you're looking at the list, the food, since it's like caters to mid to high class, the food is at a reasonable pricing from like, where it's kind of affordable for him to do this. The wine, on the other hand, is all of the expensive shit. Like the wine that is easily 5 times more expensive than half the meals. And you're looking.
Oh, I get it. So he's making sure he doesn't get gouged on the drink prices.
Yes, he has selected a very cheap bottle and a slightly below average priced bottle.
Okay, so what is everyone else drinking? That's enough for Mugshot.
Wow. All right. But... Wow.
I'll be having the water.
So, with you all place your orders. If you want to fluff out what you have ordered, by all means. This place is high class enough to have half of its menu actually be real kind of beef, and mainly fish, since Seattle is a large port town. Most of it is real fish, but they do have occasional like real beef kind of steaks on the menu. So if you want to fluff what you guys have ordered, by all means. But once again, it's not a key detail. But about 20 minutes later from ordering, your food arrives. 2 bottles of wine have arrived. You've all poured a drink. Those who've ordered water, have got water. Blah blah blah. You've now got your meal. And if we want to kind of just skip once again the lovely RPs of the dinner, we can and go down to get into the messy details.
Well, I mean, Mr. Johnson said specifically he wasn't going to do this if everybody wasn't eating, and Goryo has now said he's not going to eat. So I'm confused.
He's just going to make, since it's 4 out of 5 and 1's a troll, he's just going to let the troll order 2.
Mugshot physically restrains herself from clapping in excitement.
Goryo never said he was going to eat, though. He just said he was going to order something to drink, and that was the water.
Yeah.
Okay. Monroe's still annoyed because Mr. Johnson specifically said something else, and then you just ignored that.
Well, he said he was going to go with the majority, so 4 is the majority. But anyway, it's all good. It's all good. The Johnson doesn't seem to mind as much. He's actually kind of glad that one of you has skipped so they can feed the troll more without it going over budget. So, let me just double check some notes here. As you will be eating your meal, you can see that the Johnson, he's eating as well, but after like every mouth, as he's kind of chewing, he puts down like knife and fork, and you can see him still kind of twitching his right hand and with his AR glove, just kind of scrolling through notes and whatnot. Occasionally see the motioning of him typing. But I'm guessing...
So it's a working dinner for him, and
yes.
It's obvious.
Yeah, oh yes, it's very obvious. You kind of get the impression... Oh, sorry?
I am disappointed. Continue.
But aye, so he's kind of still reviewing things and maybe sending messages as he kind of eats. If any of yous, do comment towards him or start a conversation, he is polite enough to stop what he's doing and direct. What's the word? not confront. That's not what I'm looking for. But yes, he does stop what he's doing and he does have a conversation with you. But the second that the silence goes on for like maybe 2 or 3 seconds, he's back to the 100-yard stare and back to the VR, or AR rather. Oh.
Okay, well, I'm going to attempt to be a pleasant conversationalist, but if he's like clearly being antisocial, then I'm going to let him be antisocial.
If you start a conversation, he will stop and conversation with you. But
Yeah, no. This is a nice dinner with a Johnson who's trying to be an old school Johnson. So let's have
Cool.
nice light conversation for as much of it as possible.
Fair dues. I'm going to leave you to. He's not going to start, so you'll have to start.
Oh no, I don't need to. I'm just going to roll etiquette to make small talk. I don't need to.
Yeah, that's what I'm kind of meaning, though. That's what I mean.
Mugshot is doing her best to enjoy this absolutely heavenly meal that is the heavenly meal to her, and just not say anything, because the moment she opens her mouth, she understands that she is suddenly going to be the Baron's troll in a nice Snohomish restaurant, and that's not okay.
Fair dues. So.
Oh, I'll do local politics, the craziness involved in the corporate Redmond restoration fallout, that kind of stuff that's been on the news. But
That's a
right.
Oh, somebody kind of bugged out there. 1 2 1 2.
Yeah, I'm just specifically going for stuff that really anybody who has been following the news or is generally an informed person could talk about, right?
Yeah. And he discusses the politics, how it's a good attempt. People need to do stuff like that. They kind of going kind of sneaking onto the moral rightness of what they were going for, and avoiding the whole corporates doing it.
Oh yeah, no, I'm sticking into safe waters where he can keep all the nice PR trained answers coming.
Yes. So he's you can definitely tell now that this guy's professional Johnson, and you can feel you've done this tons of times. You can feel that he is on a bit of a script, but he's good enough to make it feel to the untrained eye that he's not. These are not his opinions. These are just what he knows to be the correct answers to the question.
Yeah, that's exactly. I'm letting him go through the routine.
Cool. So, if anybody else would like to do something in this Calm Before the Storm Johnson Meet segment, they can. But if nobody else has got any more fun shenanigans, will we just get down to it?
Yeah, how about that work, eh?
So, once everybody has finished their meals, the Johnson will wave over a waiter, 2 waiters. They'll collect the plates, refill your glasses once more, end it with the last of the wine. So you've all got 1 glass of water or wine, your preference, as the meat starts. And he kind of stretches a wee bit, sits up straight on his chair, fixes his posture, and kind of folds his arm on the table. And he goes, "All right, ladies and gentlemen, I feel we should get down to business now. Pleasantries aside, you all know why you're here. You all know why me and my employer have asked you here. Well, maybe not yet. We'll get to that. But let's go to short. My employer needs the old classic of some deniable assets that can't get traced back to him to do some risky business. You all know that, hence why you have signed up to this job. So, my employer has been having some trouble with one of his competitors. And, as he likes to put it is a love-hate relationship. His competitor loves the competition. He hates it. But can't help but get, in my personal opinion, a wee bit vindictive. And he wants to strike back. We need you to do a wee bit of damage, a wee bit of sabotage to this competitor. We are willing to open up the bid to 15k for this job, but I might fuck this up a wee bit. My apologies.
You want to take a second, Kieran?
Yeah, I was scrolling up my notes in a wee bit too fast there. And we are willing to open up the bidding for this to 15k, but why is finding words so hard, especially when you need to start talking?
Take your time. It's all good.
Oh, I'm struggling to lose the words, so he's just going to open up to the question segments for you, because that's going to help me a bit better having you guys ask me stuff so I can get my mind straight.
Sure. What kind of
my bad.
competitor are we talking about here?
He will slide over a bundle of data chips. There's going to be 5 each. And he, on the data chips, if he's so inclined to open them up, once of course you do the whole making sure they're safe, they're not data bombed or any of that shenanigans, it will have a brief dossier. And at the top of it, it's going to have the Hydea security solutions, a brief dossier on them, and a wee kind of a wee bit of a paragraph on some of their competitory actions against the Johnson's employer.
Sorry, can you
oh, my bad.
put a couple of those just like in writing? Just I feel like we're going to lose track of these real fast.
Cool. So do you want me to move you over to a blank slate for notepad taking? That helps.
Yeah, it works.
Okay, I'll just move you over to a wee bit of a blank map just for those who want to take notepads. But the data chip has so 3 main parts to it. 1, the name of the target, Hydea Security Solutions. 2, brief. Oh,
Kieran,
sorry. Yes.
Before you give us this, I realize you're giving this to us for free. We haven't accepted the job yet.
Shit. See, that's where I was getting a bit flustered. I knew I was forgetting something really, really obvious, and I wasn't thinking.
Yeah. So we're gonna pause and let you.
My bad.
Take that back.
Just indigestion.
Yes, massive amounts of nerve since this is my first run in 8 months. I'm pretty sure.
You're good, Kieran. It's fine. Just exhale.
Backpedaling,
inhale.
Just a wee bit, because you're all very nice players and I love yous. So he's made the comments about how his employer has got a competitor that keeps on taking actions against him, and how he feels that his employer stated that it's a love-hate relationship. The competitor loves the friendly competition, while his employer hates it. But it's a wee bit vindictive and wants to strike back. The job implies that yous are his spear in this operation. Yous are the ones sabotaging and striking back to the competitor. And they are willing to open up negotiations for the pay at 50k. And if you have any questions, they will be answered once you have accepted the job, or if they're within the ability to answer before such terms have been agreed upon, and thus not making you or him liable to any sort of consequences for leaked information. That is what I was trying to get out, but totally couldn't find the words.
Okay, so when I asked him like what kind of target it is he able to say like corporate sort of thing?
He would feel safe to say that it's a corporate security solutions.
Okay.
What is the exact nature of the job he wishes to perform against this target?
As I've said, sabotage. Sabotage might be a bit of a word, but
they
have made some active. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, but like sabotage means a lot of things, because like sabotage can be blow up like a single building, or it can mean like kill every member of the current employee roster. There's a lot of different types of sabotage.
I wouldn't go as far as my comrade on killing everyone per se, but I do make a point. This covers a broad range of topics.
Mm-hmm.
I believe what my esteemed compatriots are getting to is what is the scale of said sabotage, and perhaps a little bit more detail. Are we talking the physical damage to an industrial facility, the corruption of court data, the removal or loss of key employees. So just a little bit more in detail.
I feel that we'd be more looking at the loss of key equipment and personnel in this regard would be the most suiting, given once you accept the details, a lot of it will become, once you accept the job, details will become a bit more clearer. But we feel that the best way to strike back would be the hit of key equipment, structures, and personnel, maybe even potential PR hits, given that it is a security solution.
Well, you have mentioned several potential facets to this job. Will we have some discretion in exactly how we perform the sabotage in order to accomplish an overall goal, or do you have something particularly specific in mind?
Me and my employer understand that what we are asking of you is quite a vague objective, so we are willing to give you quite a lot of leniency and work about on how exactly you go around this
Accomplishing said goal. Excellent.
accomplishing said goal. The only goal I would say I've been told to give you is recently my employer has not made a profit in the past 2 months due to this friendly competition, and thus my employer would like the competition to feel the same anger that he felt at that, if that gives you enough of a goal in mind to do what you need to do.
Yeah, should be able to take care of that. No problem.
Over to Yanai, Gorio's gonna ask, does this feel a little too vague yet to you guys?
Vague is good. Vague gives us room to operate. However, it's definitely not nearly enough money because our job is to make a corporate security entity unprofitable, and we have no idea how profitable they are currently. So, if they're making several millions of new yen a year, we need to make them not, which is a huge amount of damage. So, and it needs to be lasting and irreplaceable. So we are currently being far underpaid relative to the amount of damage we are being asked to do, even with vague objectives. But I'll leave the specifics of that to somebody else. I just want everyone to be aware of that. And I can confirm this with informed opinion if you want, Kieran.
Just for checking that all that was in DNI, yes?
Yeah.
Cool. So what were you asking to do there? Sorry, I was a bit...
Oh, I was just saying that if we're going to make a corporate security company unprofitable, which seems to be the objective of the run, right?
Mm-hmm.
15K each is a comedically small amount of money.
Yes.
So I just want to confirm that with Knowledge Corp.
So as Johnson's do, they do start off by lowballing you. With that hit, that this is a wee bit potentially on me being just not knowing the thematics of it and just forgetting that there is a difference between corporate and private security solutions. So if I said corporate, I apologize. I meant to say private security solutions, and if there is a difference there, my bad.
Yeah, but I'm saying the entity we are making unprofitable is still a corporation, even if they provide private security.
Yes.
That's the...
So he is, as Johnson's do, lowballing you, probably by quite a bit, but you're also getting the impression that he's probably lowballing you so much because it makes it seem like he's better off and he's giving you more money. If that makes sense. So it makes it seem like it's a better deal when he gives you, double what you kind of expect, kind of thing. If that makes sense.
So he can come up and still be lowballing us, but we feel better about it.
Yeah.
Classic.
With what you kind of know from this meeting so far, that's kind of the impression you're getting, that he's obviously lowballing you by a good margin, but he's doing that, so when he offers you more money, it seems more reasonable because he's offering you a higher amount.
All right, so Gorio's going to say, given the vagueness of our objective itself, and what you're asking is essentially the shutdown, almost, I'd say, of a corporation itself that is capable of giving your employer a run for his money, I find the opening bid very low, considering these factors.
Before I ask the potential of rolling dice, would anybody like to back up your main man Gorio's here's pitch?
Do you want to do half the hits for informed opinion and just leave it at that?
So just 3 extra dice? You don't want to?
Yeah, because informed opinion directly to somebody else is a little bit silly, right?
Fair. Yeah. Fair dues. But if there's anybody else with a wee bit of negotiation that would like to chuck that in there, I don't mind letting it.
I've asked some questions, but I've contributed my dice, so if somebody else wants to.
Xena's just going to do the typical sort of, the way these things go when the details are so vague. We're obviously going up against a fairly high secure opposition here.
It is a security company.
Yeah, these guys presumably, because for all I know, they could be knight errant up until you tell me otherwise. These are the kinds of people who make their living combating people like us. So if we're not going to have the details and our mission objectives are going to be a little vague, which that's fine, but the price has got to come up.
Cool. So if you want to roll me your negotiation for the assisting of what Gyro's going to do. The name's failing me, Zeno.
There you go. Bask in my extra 1 day I've given you.
I'll take it.
So you've got an extra 4 dice plus 1 to your limit for your negotiation roll, Gyro. Gorio, fuck's sake. I'll get there. Are you happy with that level of success, good sir?
So
Okay.
7 hits.
7 hits. This is just me double checking here. Like your Argentum quotes, that's only for limit, isn't it?
Argentum adds 1 to social pools, and if it's wireless on, it adds another. No, it adds 1 to limit, and it adds another 1 if it's wireless on to social pools.
He does not have Argentum. He has the executive suit, but his social limit would be 10 for this test. So he keeps all those hits.
I think Kieran's doing the other side of it.
Oh,
yes.
okay.
Yes. Johnson kind of goes, these are all very reasonable fears and questions to ask, and of course, I've been given a wee bit more of a operational budget for this, and I'll be willing to increase the payout to 18,000.
It's definitely not an amount Gorio's happy with. He would have felt more comfortable with 20K, so he's not sure how he's feeling. Boss team is acceptable to you?
I'd push for 20 plus. 20 plus or some kind of expense account that would equal, like getting us to 20 plus, right? Like an upfront 10,000 good faith budget, etc., which will, is effectively getting us to 20K.
Very valid points, which I can make out to Johnson. So Gory will say, that is a fairly more generous offer, but me and my companions feel that for the nature of this job and what you're asking, a little extra would help make all the difference. We could have perhaps, say, a $10,000 or 10,000 yen operating budget to go towards the facilitating of these objectives. It would go a long way to ensuring your employer's continued prosperity.
Okay. Would anybody else like to assist? This is a new round of negotiation. That's a new round of assisting.
Sure. There you go.
Big assist mark 2. Nice. I do believe you have a rank 5 in negotiation, or is it 6?
6.
6, okay.
So I keep all of them.
Yeah,
Okay.
you get +2 to limit and +6 dice.
Yep. +2, is it? Oh yes, 1 limit per person assisting, isn't it? Cool. Never mind, I was a bit late on the buzzer there. I was going to ask for it to be at -2 just to the fact that, you're kind of like tended ancestor, he's offered you more money, but you're asking for more, just for the social modifier table shenanigans. But I wasn't fast on the draw there, so I will leave that.
We can just drop the last hit, or do you want me to re-roll?
I feel since I wasn't fast enough, we're just going to leave it there. Because that's maybe being a bit slow, so I'm not going to punish you for me being slow. Okay, so 10 total.
Yep, and I keep all those dice.
Okay. Johnson pauses for a moment. Briefest millisecond of that kind of 100-yard stare of going into AR. I do believe that these are acceptable terms, fears, and conditions you're asking of me and my employer. So, with 18,000 on job completion and what's what I'm looking for? An on-faith upfront budget, operational budget of 10,000.
Sorry, out of character. Is that 10,000 like part of our 18K, or is it like you have this much to spend and then you will also?
It was independent.
Independent. So out of character, you're all going out of character. If we split it evenly, it'd all be 20,000 each. 2 up front and then 18 on completion. That's how it's kind of working out. So the 18 is independent. The 10K that you're getting as a team right now are 2 different.
Okay, so basically, if we take the money and then don't spend any of the upfront, we've been paid a total of 20,000. Got it.
Correct.
Yes, this is an addition.
Yep. So where was I again? Totally lost track. Yes. Those are some very valid fears and concerns. Me and my employer are willing to accept these conditions. So with an 18,000 payout on job completion and a faith upfront payment operational budget of 10,000, would these be acceptable to your people and thus willing to accept the job?
I'm good with it.
Over DNI, I'll let the team know I'm good, and I'll give a nod to Mr.
On DNI, a thumbs up.
Mugshot is like, fuck yeah, Nguyen over DNI.
All right. For the first time since he stepped in, there's a show of emotion. There's a slight smile on Goryo's face, and he'll say, "All right, we're in."
Okay. So now back to the present, before I fucked up everything. The only slight change is Johnson's going to slide over 6 things. 5 data chips for you, 1 cred stick. It would be gold, I believe. Yes, it'll be gold. It has to be gold, doesn't it? Anyway, that aside. And as I said earlier, once you do the typical security shenanigans on the data chips, that it has 3 key bits of information for you. That is the Hydea Security Solutions. It has a very brief resume on them and a bit of a dossier on the competitory actions they have taken against the Johnson's competitor, the Johnson who you're being hired for, but his name has been left out of the dossier for obvious reasons. Johnson will then open up the floor for it. If you have any specific questions that you feel may not be on these data chips, you do have me for the remainder of the meeting.
You got a time frame in mind for when we need to get the work done by?
My employer would like this to be done as soon as possible, but understands that this sort of work takes time and is willing to give you 1 week of operation time to do so.
Got it.
Is there any particular facility or group of personnel that they're looking to have sabotaged?
Yes, could you provide us with your employer's data on this target, perhaps on a data chip that would give us a target listing in terms of facilities, personnel, that sort of thing that we could use to render this organization unprofitable?
Okay, so I'm just going to give you a quick rundown on what is actually on the data chip, because those two questions would be answered on them. So the HIDA security is, I believe how you pronounce it, is a SimShin, is a security solutions made up of SimShin ex-military personnel. That's kind of like their, on their selling point is that you're buying ex-soldiers. Hidati have the Hidea rather, have a couple of branches. Most of them are up in the Simshin region of Canada, if I'm getting my geography correct. But they have one branch currently in Seattle. The Seattle branch is what you've been told are the ones specifically causing the employer the issue with the friendly competition. And it's got it's got the key personnel on them, which is 3 names. Smiling Crow, who is tagged as what's the word? I don't think he's not the CEO, but he's the branch manager. He's the one in charge of the Seattle branch. I don't know what the specific title for that would be.
That's fine. We call him branch manager.
And then 2 others, which is Soaring Hawk, which is the head of the magical security solutions area of it, and Coiled Snake, which is the head of the Matrix security solutions. Pretty much what he's giving you is just screenshots and links from a lot of their Matrix sites where, he's just pretty much just giving you the link to their portfolio for what they would sell potential clients, what they'd give potential clients. A lot of it is kind of redacted with the black tape until the clients sign up for their solutions. Kind of similar to, I feel security solutions are very similar to Shadowrunners in that respect. They don't let people see what they've got access to until they're willing to pay them to have it, if that makes sense. So a lot of what they've actually got is hidden behind a firewall and some redacted black tape. But you've got general information on the 3 main personnel, like the 3 heads of the Seattle branch and their specializations. Their main base of operations, if you go to the map I've linked you, it's on the border, the northeastern border of Snohomish and Redmond. The B zone, the Monroe B zone, is where it's based. So do you know how you've got the Highway 2? And north of that, is that just that kind of black industrial area on the map?
Really?
Yeah,
In the Monroe zone?
Yep. That is where their main...
It's in Snohomish, yes?
Yes, it's still in Snohomish, but it's quite close to the Redmond border. But still in Snohomish. So it's in the B zone of Monroe. And it's on the north side of the number 2 highway, is what it is. And you've got a couple of pictures have been kind of provided for you from what you can only guess is very shoddy surveillance. Well, not shoddy, but basic surveillance, and it does appear to be a small airport. Wait.
They have an airport in their base?
their base appears to be the airport. It's a small, independent airstrip. Sorry, that might be a better word.
Well, that's not good at all.
I don't know. Aircraft are super fragile.
Mugshot over DNI pipes up. I do has a rocket launcher.
Actually, there's an idea. We could totally 9/11 this building.
It's probably how they're bringing in employees, if a lot of them are from, like, live in the NAN. A lot of Native American corporations, like, fly their employees in
We could
across the border.
get a some type of infiltration on the incoming plane.
Let's not start planning just yet, gentlemen.
Right, it's info dump time.
So there's probably a wee bit more basic information on Hydia right there with the data chip, but I'm not remembering what it is exactly. But
Okay, I have some questions that are likely to be on the chip.
Okay.
What's the rating of Hydia, and where is it registered as a company?
So the Hydia is registered, I would believe.
Is it like an A-rated company in the NAN, or is it unrated?
I would want to say it is unrated. I wanted to kind of grab hold of Luno to just double check some of these things beforehand, but he's had family issues. Not issues, but family shenanigans, so I've not had a chance. I'm going to go with unrated for now, but well, just out of real quick curiosity, is there a big jump between unrated and A? Because I thought the big power mark was AA.
I mean, A-rated is you are big enough to be nationwide, as I understand. Like, you are modern day Macy's is an A-rated corporation.
Okay. I'm going to go with unrated for now, but very high on the unrated chart. Quite high up there, but still unrated. Would be my final answer on that.
Sounds good to me. It sounds like maybe their Seattle branch is like their Seattle branch new, or has it been here for a while?
I've been kind of given some timelines. So would about the area of 10 to 15 years be considered new?
No, because that means they were here before the Lone Star KE switchover.
Right. Oh shit, yeah. I would be closer to 5 years then. So how long they've been set up in Seattle.
Okay.
So once again, if that's new or not, unfortunately, that's where my thematic knowledge came.
I'd say 5 years is relatively new in terms of
5
Seattle.
years is
So
good.
this could be like a part of their bid to get a rating if they're trying to go like
international.
Yeah,
especially if you're like, we have also do significant business in the UCAS if they're trying to move up. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, so 5 years, I would say they've been set up in Seattle. The branch has been set up in Seattle.
Right here.
So it says they're a private security firm. Do we have an idea specifically of what their private security entails? So just to give you some sort of real life examples, Kieran, like there are private security firms that are like specifically bodyguard firms, right? Like they do executive protection, and that's like what they do, right? Whereas they're sort of the more general private security. They basically only do building security. They'll staff a whole building, they'll handle it, and do we have an idea of where they fit in? They sort of all coverages.
In the dossier, it does give you that they are relatively small compared to others, but so there's maybe registered 80 members. A part of
is that in the UCAS branch?
The Seattle branch, yes, just the Seattle branch. Most of the information specifically regarding it is Seattle branch, but it has more general stuff to the Simpson. But most of the pinpoint information that you'll be asking is going to be specific
to Seattle branch.
So they say they have anywhere between 80 to 90 members, but with a 50 half and half split of that being actual security personnel and thus support personnel that don't do security jobs. But their main selling point is being able to hire Astral and Matrix specialists.
Yeah, so I guess my thing is, let's say I'm a person, right? And I want to go onto their website and buy their services, right? Like, is there a list of some example packages? Like, we will cover your entire building, we'd handle executive
All right.
protection. Like, what are they
Okay.
advertising, right?
So they tend to do facility protection, so like office buildings, garages, anybody who's like, I've got a facility that's in a rough part of the neighborhood. I want to make sure that it is operational, and it's protected. They do facility protection.
Mugshot actually kind of blinks at this point. Goes over DNI. Wait, he said HIDA security, right? HAIDA.
Yes.
I believe it was Haydir, Hadir. Can you type it out for us, Kieran?
What Sev said correct. That was me panicking and saying it wrong. It's Haida, so HAIDA.
Over DNI. Wait, I know this court. I've done a job against them before. I can tell you lots about these people.
So was that out loud or was that in DNI?
That's over DNI.
Cool.
Okay.
Okay, I think we have good information to go off. Sorry, go ahead.
I'm happy to know more about these people. What's like? Is there anything we should know like right away before we
Over
start?
DNI.
Yeah.
Yeah, like if I see, I had to. I can't say too much, you understand, but like, I had to do. This is all over DNI. I had to do this job, right? Where it was like it was a scouty job. Like, I had to be on the look see for what they had, and this bit in Seattle that they got, it's got helicopters and it's got a tank or two or something.
Have you been there before?
Yeah, I mean I've not been on the site, but like I've seen the site. I've been there before.
Okay.
Good then. All right. Do we have a number for you, Mr. Johnson? Jameson, whatever you want to be called.
It kind of says that if you do need to contact me, preferably once the job is complete, there is a com code at the bottom of the dossier that I've provided.
Good.
And regarding the final payment arrangements, do you have an escrow account number for us, or are we going to be making a credit stick transfer?
Escrow was not brought up, so
it was not. Okay. How will we be making this exchange once we have completed this task?
You have 1 week to provide. You have 1 week to do this job. If you take all, with the deadline being a week today, whenever the job is completed, inform me, and I will make the same reservation at this restaurant at the same time, and thus payment will be provided.
Over DNI, I don't like the Johnson controlling the meeting place of the drop-off. Can we get him to do a exchange of our choosing?
I'll just straight up say, yeah, we'll choose the place when we want to hand over the file. Don't worry, we'll make sure it's cushy enough for you.
He gives a nod to that.
We done here?
I think so. And I'm saying that out loud. I'm not saying it over DNI.
All right. In that case, it's been wonderful meeting you. I think it's about time we get on our way.
At which point the Johnson will stand up and he will offer his hand to shake for anybody who is so inclined, and will give the very politest a pleasure doing business.
I'll stand and shake his hand, and then go back to my drink.
I'm going to be walking out with a drink in hand, but I'll sort of raise a glass to him.
So if nobody else needs the Johnson for anything, he is going to make his leave.
Right here.
Mugshot looks very excited that she can be of use besides just killing things.
Okay, so should we? I guess let's finish our drinks and let's get out of here, and we can start on the legwork. Do you, Mugshot, do you actually have any information on the security of this place that's
Oh.
useful to us, or have you just seen it from afar?
I've seen it from afar, and I've seen that they had a couple of like really old-looking tanks, and as I was watching it, they had a couple of them really nasty-looking helicopters fly out. I think one of the guys on the team at the time called it a Griffin.
Did they have enough space for multiple helicopters?
Yeah, a couple of them at least.
Okay.
Plus, like I said, the tank, which looked really old, but also a tank.
Yep.
Hopefully that doesn't come up.
Also, I don't actually know how relevant this is, but I feel I should tell you all in the interest of not being, cagey, and getting smacked by the Wiggler in the head, magically speaking. But our maze have the com code of Smiling Crow.
Oh, that'll be
Go
useful.
on.
Can we ask how you used it before? Because it may or may not still be relevant to our use.
Well, I was not actually used it so much as I was given it, because, like, see, on this job that I may or may not have been on, I also had to go like sneak a look at one of their bases up in the Shimishin, and I was on this hill, see, being as sneaky as someone like me can be, and there was this old Indian man who was like having a puff of the Zen up on this hill,
Mhm.
and he and I got to a talking, and it turns out his name is Smiling Crow.
The key question is, did your hacker, I assume you worked with a hacker, happen to do any shenanigans to it that might have led him to
No,
change the dice?
not that I know, certainly of.
All right, then.
Now, I mean, it's possible that the com code he gave me was one of them burner types, so it might not still be in activation, but I do has his com code. Or has a com code, at least.
All right.
The question is, how much more black could it be? And the answer is none. None more black.
Like, shut up, Will. Let me have my accent. Fuck off.
Yes. We're all going to do it now. The question is.
I'm always doing the accent. Anyway, okay, so hypothetically, we could just kill these 3 head of security people.
Hypothetically.
That would be one way of completing the job. On the data packet, does it give? I thought I heard that there were examples of like the back and forth, or at least what had been done recently to our employer's corporation.
Oh, sorry. One last bit. Because you was asking about like the airfield. Yeah, I saw one of the whatchamacallums, the big planes, like the big ones that the RRA had flying over. It was taken off. I think that's how they got the tank there.
Okay.
I don't think they drove it over the border. I think they flew it in a plane.